I absolutely love Bittersweet Symphony.
Well, I love it now too.
Yeah?
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Just different vibe.
Lighthearted.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Coaching, Caffeine, and Comedy. I'm your host, Hayley Copza.
And I'm Lena.
First and foremost, huge thank you to our 3 sponsors. If you can't name them by now, you should probably be listening to a few more episodes.
And get through the entire episode.
Exactly.
Come
so,
on, people.
On Norris Street in McCook.
El Puerto. Where you can have
Margaritas,
nachos,
pina coladas,
burritos,
enchiladas,
chips and salsa.
a lot of things.
Yes.
Yes.
So good.
And then over on B Street, we have
Joltin Joe's.
where you can get all the goodies there.
Yes. If
Snacks.
you need a pretzel,
Yes. Filled with cream cheese.
muffin,
A refresher,
iced Americano with sugar-free mocha and a shot of cream.
a Copza.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
You know what? I don't even know how many episodes we went without bringing that
I know,
up.
but I feel like some people forgot about it and haven't
Yes.
tried it, and they need to go get one.
Oh,
Need to go get
$19
one.
Cobza.
Stop.
Yes.
And then, of course, Wild Ass Soap Company.
Makes you smell good and feel good.
Yes, so awesome. But today we are going to make a phone call.
We are.
Another person that I met at FCA camp. Again, Lena and I, we just really like learning about people and their stories and branching out. Like,
Yes.
we have some amazing people here in McCook, but we also have some really cool people outside of McCook that we sometimes get the pleasure of meeting.
Yeah.
But we're going to give old Paula Walker a phone call here, and
Yeah.
let's see what she's up to.
Let's see what Paula's doing today.
Okay. She called me. She was like ready to go.
That is so fun.
It is fun.
It's really awkward if they forget.
That would be when you call them and you're like, hello,
Hello.
Paula.
Haley, what's up, girl?
Oh my goodness, I've missed your face.
This is
I
so
miss you too.
exciting.
Oh, okay.
You don't know me, but you can miss me too, because I feel like
Yes,
it's-
I do miss you.
Oh,
It is exciting.
Paula, so
Yes.
have you listened to any of my episodes on coaching, caffeine, and comedy?
I have not listened
Oh
to any
my
of them yet.
gosh.
I
Let's
know, such a
go.
bad friend.
It's okay. She caught
Friend.
friend. See this? We had a connection.
I feel like it extends to me because
Yeah.
I'm in the room. Why
Yeah.
not?
So also the other voice that you hear, this is Lena, and Lena is my co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. She is the beauty of the podcast.
Well, that depends on the day.
I love that.
Yeah. She has a few years on us. I got to
Okay,
throw that
you
out
know
there.
what?
I just kind of
How old?
set the
How
tone.
old is your mom?
How old is my mom?
Yes.
What if I told you I don't know how old is she if she
Okay,
was
well,
here on Earth.
Okay. Well, I was wondering if I would be the
She
same.
passed away.
Well, this is
this
Thanks,
is starting.
Kobza,
I'm
for-
sorry. I don't tell Lena anything.
She doesn't tell me anything.
I apologize.
yeah.
No, which is totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
My mother passed away when I was 3.
Oh my gosh. Thanks,
Yeah,
Cobes.
3 years old.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
I have adopted mom too. My adopted mom passed away my sophomore year in college.
Oh my gosh. Paula.
So, yeah.
I feel like we're starting really.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to go there. My goodness, this is
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Well-
we're gonna go back.
Yes.
We'll go back, but in the meantime, let's
Mm-hmm.
start off on a fresh
A fresh note, like a
note.
more
Yeah.
a more
Lighter.
chippery.
Yeah.
chippery.
So Paula, what we do here, we like to put people on the spot and make it really awkward.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
it's
make it awkward.
I
Make
feel
it
like
awkward.
I already did that, so I don't know if we really need a warm up
No.
after all of that.
So what we're gonna do, Lena's gonna put 30 seconds on the clock.
Yep.
And then she's
Yeah.
going to give you a letter. And then within that
Okay.
30 seconds, you got to come up with as many words as possible that aren't a person or a place. Okay.
Is not a person or place.
Yes.
Correct.
So like you can't say Hayley if it's an H, and you got to come up with as many words as possible with that letter.
You say, hold on. You say
Okay.
not a place.
Not a place or
Or
a person.
pers-
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna try my best. All right.
You
you
can
ready?
do this. You need to get at least 15 in 30 seconds. Okay.
The letter is T. Go.
Television.
1.
Truth.
Ooh.
Tassel.
Oh.
Okay.
Taffy.
Mm-hmm.
Terrific. Tutu.
That's 6.
You're doing great. Okay.
Oh, that's your time. Well,
Paula, you didn't do bad. You
I
did.
know. I tried.
I
tried.
liked how
like it was almost timed.
calming.
Yes,
It was like
there was a nice
tutu.
collected pause in between.
Yes. And this is clearly why you are so good at being a kindergarten teacher.
You're a kindergarten
She
teacher?
was.
Oh,
Yes,
was.
for over
Yes.
8 years.
Oh
Yes,
my
I love the little one.
gosh, you're
Yeah.
an angel.
Yeah.
Anyone in education?
I don't know if
is
I'm an angel.
Well.
I think God has better angels than this one.
Oh. Okay, Paula, let's get into the nitty-gritty. I want to know everything about you. I feel like within the first 10 minutes that you started speaking to me, I instantly knew that you were an awesome person that I was meant to run into. So tell us like where you're from, and about your family, and then just kind of lead us up to college. Can you do that?
Okay.
Okay.
I think I
Let's
can
do
do
it.
that.
Yep.
You're gonna have to direct me though.
I will. I know. You can get talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right. So I am from a little country town called Foconas. You have to say it like that. You can say Four Corners. It's Foconas, where the language sounds like, and I'm still kind of doing research of like, was it clearly Creole English, or it just was broken down English, as my professors would say when I was in college. But yeah, and Foconas is actually located in Franklin, Louisiana. So anyone that knows the south of like Louisiana, of Lafayette, sometimes I have to say New Orleans, like, oh yeah. So that area. And what else you asked me?
So that's where you grew up, and then kind of just talk a little bit about your family, how you grew up, and let's get to like at least college, and like what led you to college.
Yeah. So I was born with a mom and dad, mom and dad made me so beautifully and wonderfully made in God's image. But I lived with my mom and dad for 3 years of my life. And then we were on our way to family in Foconas. And by the way, I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but only lived there 3 years of my life. And my family decided to go see our family in Foconas, where I was raised, and a drunk driver hit us, and my mom was killed. And my dad decided to leave us, and he ended up marrying his mistress and starting a family with her, which caused us to be adopted with our mom's aunt and her husband in Foconas, Louisiana. And they had children. They had a girl and 3 boys, and they adopted my younger sister and I, and my brother. He was adopted by a great-grandfather, which didn't live that far from where we were living. But yeah, I live in a little country town where, it was rich in culture, as in Creole, African American, Native American culture. It was very diverse. Loved outside. Outside was where everything went down. That's where I fell in love with sports, because back at home, playing sticks and the rock, making it play, with the game baseball, was so much fun. And then one of the things that I did enjoy doing was running bare feet on the gravel road into the dirt against all the boys in the neighborhood, which obviously got into my love for track and field. And so during middle school and high school, I was continually told that I had a gift in running, that was something that I needed to do. So I ended up running track and field in middle school and high school. And then eventually I ended up receiving a scholarship at Southern University in Baton Rouge, going back to the city where I was born. Who knew that was a place I was going to go back to, but went there and started collegiate track there, did all 4 years. And what a lot of people don't know, my first year was actually red shirt. It was red shirt because, yes, it was red shirt. It was considered red shirt. I guess that was the name for it. But it's because I didn't have all the ACT scores at the time. I was in remedial mathematics, remedial English understandable. Paula Walker needed to learn standard English, especially if I was going into teaching. But yeah, that's how it all started. And I mean, who knew that that one year would be a year that I knew that this is something that I wanted to do? Because in order to be a red shirt, in any sport, it's hard work. Especially you're not guaranteed sometimes. Sometimes in some process, you're not guaranteed to have a scholarship. But I'll never forget with my coach, he said, if you can beat an upperclassman, not just you'll receive a full paid scholarship, two, that you'll always be the anchor leg on my 4x4. And when I tell you, this little country girl from Four Corners, Louisiana, I did it in such a loving way, and that good sportsmanship, and yeah, that's that life.
Yeah, red shirt is hard. You said that because like sometimes I don't think people understand like a red shirt has to work just as hard as somebody that's playing or running. I don't know how you use the terms in track.
Yeah.
But they're without getting the glory because they're not actually competing.
Right. Okay.
They're just working their tail off just as hard, but not getting the outcomes that they're getting, if that makes sense. So
yeah, and the reason why I don't know if it's red shirt, because my coach and the coaches would get there was times where there was a certain person that was over the NCAAs, like all these rules, knew the rules, and was like, she should not be practicing with y'all. So I'm not sure if it was a red shirt or it was just like, I don't know. I really know. Still to the day, I don't know. All I know, it was like some bad blood, like Taylor Swift said, with some bad blood. But my coach, who was so lovingly, bless his soul, he's with the Lord now. He just really saw something in me and loved me so well, and he made sure that when I started on my year of scholarship, that I would not be one that was left behind, that I was up to part with. I'm telling you, name it. It was really good.
Awesome. So why did you end up going into education?
I'm sorry?
Why did you end up going into education in college?
Oh, that's a good question, because I did not start it in education. I started in nursing. I started in nursing.
Join the club.
Yes. Yes.
And
but the thing that detoured me was the fact that once my mom, so I had to care for my mom a lot, and the type of things I had to do were something that a at-home nurse would do. And I think because I was the one that found her dead and like touching a hard body, that traumatized me. So I knew that sophomore year, I believe, is the year you have to apply for nursing school. And so I remember going into nursing school, asking them all these questions, what I have to do, what grades I have to have. And at the time, my grades were bad because I was just stressed and going back and forth to go care for my mom. But at the same time, I wanted to look like, okay, if I did get my grades right, what that would look like. And so the comment she told me, the statement that she shared with me really changed everything. She said, well, Paula, right now, from your grades, it doesn't look like you would be one of the top ones that would be you'll be able to take intro. You'll probably have to take these classes over. But I hope you know that because you run track, you're going to have to choose track or nursing school, because you can't do both. And so I'm looking at her, well, track is paying for my school, so why would I do that? That was going in my head. Obviously at 25, they say the brain fully developed. Obviously mine wasn't fully, so I'm looking like, so logically, if I quit track, that means I'm going to get my school paid. So I ended up continuing doing track, and I went to my room that day and I threw everything on my bed, and my sweet roommate at the time was trying to figure out what was going on. I was like, I'm not going to graduate until 2013 or whatever it was at the time. And she said, what's wrong? I was like, I'm going to have to find something else. And I remember she shared with me, and her words were, Paula, you're good with kids. And I was like, no, I'm not. She's like, yes, you are. And she's like, there's a child development program here. I said, Southern don't have nothing. They don't have nothing. So I'm just like, she has like totally opposite personality. She's so calm, and I'm just like out of the box. And all she does is open the catalog, the school catalog with all the majors, place it on my bed. And that's when it started. I was like, hold up. You're right. Okay, let me look into this. And so I went into child development. and that was in Southern's program, the agriculture and family consumer sciences, part of the school. And yeah, when I went into that, I knew that that's where I needed to be, and just went along further along and graduated. And honestly, I was only one semester behind, because keep in mind, to change your major, and especially I changed my major, like it was towards the end of junior year eventually that I changed it. That's late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's usually like, that's not a good idea. But for me, I knew that I wanted to finish track. That was my heart at the time. And that I needed to do something that was going to at least that I can graduate in. And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so, where was your first teaching job?
My first teaching job, oh my goodness. Gotta disclose this. No, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
playing. My first teaching job was at a school that was called it wasn't I think, I don't know if you would call it a second chance school, but it was in north side of Baton Rouge, one of the toughest areas in Baton Rouge, especially with crime. I was recruited to this school that took in kids that was actually kicked out the second chance school. Like these kids were, I mean, honestly, I'll just put it that way, is that one of my students, and I was actually, they hired me as the health and PE teacher. And one of my students, actually, he was in 10th grade, and what he did for a living to live was to steer cars. That's what he did.
Mm.
And so this is a rough start. And honestly, I didn't stay in it for very long because I was too kind. I was too nice. I had kids to talk through their problems. And that was just a certain culture that they were looking for and needed. But I didn't know I didn't know. I'm fresh out of college, didn't even know what that would look like. And it just didn't work out. And I was fired. That was my actually first job that I got fired on. Yeah. And she did it and I was fired in such a loving way. And they saw something that was in me, but it wasn't particular there. And then eventually my next job was at a public school in another rough area in Baton Rouge and Gardere area, where I was a teacher for a little boy who was deaf and autistic. So I had to learn sign language within 2 weeks of the job to be his teacher. And it was kind of like more of an apara. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the word, the para
Yeah.
position. And then eventually moved from apparel to reading interventionist. And then through the grace of God, I began to volunteer at a school called Gardere Community Christian School out in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I was one of their first founding teachers. And that's where I was for a little over at least 7 years.
And that's where you taught kindergarten, right?
Yes, that's where I
Yes.
taught
Mm.
kindergarten. That actually I taught kindergarten the first 2 or 3 years, because they only had three teachers at the time when they first started the school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So
So
we're,
yeah, it's big now. I think it's up to like almost 200 kids now.
Oh,
But yeah,
wow.
when we started, it was only 10 kids.
oh my gosh. So like were classes combined?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was.
wow.
Yes, it was so beautiful. Probably the most life-giving thing I've ever had, because keep in mind the school, this is a nonprofit school, and this lady, I mean, it was such a beautiful heart, and became even a mentor in my family. And I mean, the Lord put it on her heart to develop this school. And it was for kids and families who really want their kids to have the same education as anybody, like in a really good education, because the education system in Louisiana, specifically in Baton Rouge, is horrible. So they
Mm.
want their kids to do better in life, but the
Mm-hmm.
only I mean, usually if you want your kid to have a better education, you have to pay to like up to like 10 to 17,000 a year for your child to have that. And these people, I mean, these families, they didn't have that money, and so she started this school, and they had little as, I mean, they would pay little as what, $15, not 15, $50
Mm-hmm.
a month for their child to go to school, and they got it too. And that was one thing too, because I don't know, I'm not sure what's the history behind like nonprofit schools, but this wasn't no school just because these kids was from a low poverty area that they got a low poverty type of education. No, these kids got top notch teachers in education in the Word of God, and that is what I love, that I was a part of that. So
That's outstanding. Wow. Was Was the school, was it set up to be like a Monday through Friday, 8 to 3 with extracurriculars, or what was the normal day? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So the school was set up through Monday and Friday. Fridays would be kind of more of we would get out like at 1 o'clock, I believe. I
Okay.
believe it's like 1 o'clock. They did have extra curriculum activities. There was teachers such as myself had little extra giftings, and we would like do art classes. I did a boot camp class, and it was all boys boot camp class. It
Oh,
was a
okay.
boot camp, and
Mm-hmm.
we would start off with what's on our heart, what's going in the world, and I would let them flesh out what the things that's going around them, but keep them centered in Christ and what God called us to do, and then we'll do a workout. And I mean, probably one of the most life-changing thing, and they were committed too. And we had other organizations that partner with us from other churches that would come in, and kids, even from other private schools. Man, let me tell you, reconciliation, especially racial reconciliation, in such a beautiful way, because you had schools um, that was predominantly white, because this school, Gardere Community Christian School, at the beginning of it, it was predominantly African American and a little Spanish, but now it's like 65% Spanish now, and the rest African American. Actually, now it's like African American and now Caucasian American. It is definitely is very diverse, but the founder of the school worked at a predominantly white private school, and she left that school because she felt God called her from that, and was able to use those resources. And I love that the school supported her and was finding ways to like, hey, look, you want to serve, come on, let's come together. And that was one of the things I love. So yeah, thank God for the community.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. Yeah.
So then after there, then where?
After what?
After you were at that school, because didn't you go to one more school before you, or no?
No, that was it. That
Okay.
was it. I end up becoming a youth director at a big Presbyterian
Yes.
church
Okay.
in
Yeah.
Baton Rouge. Yeah.
All right. And so how did you get into that role?
So can I blow your mind just a little bit?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so my first year as a kindergarten first grade, let me put add on that, kindergarten first grade teacher for the school, Gardere Community Christian School. It was in the basement of the Presbyterian church called First Presbyterian Church of Baton Rouge. And so my first year as the teacher, we were in that basement, and so it would be a pack and go classroom. So every Friday we would pack up the classroom. So we would get volunteers from the church, and I was not a member at the time, and they would help us. And it was in a stage of my life where I was looking for love in the wrong places. And when I became a teacher, and when someone was like, oh, by the way, you're a Christian teacher, I felt weight, and I was like, oh my goodness, I got to change my life. I got to do something different with myself. I got to make sure that I'm the same person that I am in person. I'm the same person that I am in this classroom with these kids, because I don't like fake. Like, I'd either be fake or all like are real. Like, you got to choose. There's no gray area here.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the midst of trying to figure out who I was and trying to figure out this love, like, what are you talking about, this love? God sent the most amazing room mom that from the church, a member from the church that just loved me well. And I'll never forget, she gave me a gift. She left a gift on my desk, and I asked her why she gave it to me. And she's like, Paula, it's just a happy. I was like, no, why did you give it to me? And I broke down, because I told her, I was like, the only time was given a gift is either Christmas, because you're supposed to, right? Mm-hmm. Birthday, you're supposed to, but it was never just because. I say, usually, I was like, you have to earn something. You have to do something in order to get it. It has to be a reason. And she's like, no, and it's right there. I impacted God's love. It's like, you don't have to do anything to earn my love. And so that was that. And yeah, and I ended up like becoming a member of that church, because I was like, I want to be here. If these people love like that, if they're a servant, like I want to be a part of that family. And so became a part of that church, and eventually start volunteering in their youth program. And 8 years later, I became a youth director in that basement, because that's where the youth would meet.
That's crazy.
Is the woman who gave you the gift, is she still in the church? Like, are you still in contact with her?
Yeah, she is. And guess what? She's still a room mom at that same school.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
so incredible.
Yes,
That's
yes.
awesome.
I love her. Yes, I love her. And we still stay in contact. Let me tell you, she's the reason why I have my dog too. She's the reason
really?
I brought my
Thor?
I lost my first dog, Chloe, and she's been with me for so long, and she saw how much I love my dog, and I saw this dog from, like, it was a dog on this website from Ohio, and I'm like, I'm not paying that much for, the fight or whatever. And she was like, no, we're gonna. So yeah, she ended up taking care of it, and that's how I got my little sweet Thor. Yes,
Oh, what
and
kind
it's
of
Thor Adam. Okay, it's Thor Adam.
gosh.
And by the way, is Adam because he's the first man that ever lived in my house.
Oh,
yes.
love it.
What kind of dog is Thor Adam?
Thor is a cockapoo.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's cute.
Sounds adorable.
He's cute. So
Yeah.
the first time when we had met, and I was like, well, I'm going to go run. She's like, ooh, I don't run without my hammer. And I was like, for a second though, I was like an actual hammer. But then
That's what
were
I
you
would've
talking
thought.
about Thor?
No, so I do. So
You
I
really
do.
run with a hammer?
So no.
Okay.
It is a joke, but it was a joke. It was a joke.
Oh, but
It
I
really
was like,
a joke. But I do have a hammer that is with me in my car all the time, and that's just my self-defense
There you
tool.
go.
Yeah.
It's one of the many self-defense tools. The other one is my faith. The other one is my hands. If God just like, all right, God, I know you say turn the other cheek, but I'm about to throw a fist. But yeah, our hammer.
Is there do you have to have a concealed carry permit for that thing? How does that work? I don't know what the laws
for
are.
a hammer. I mean, you saw the movie Thor. I throw it. It's, like an axe.
Yeah,
Like an axe.
Yeah, it's just
That's
out
great.
there. That's amazing.
I mean, I feel like I'll grab that quicker and get them. My grandpa was like, get them in the knee. Get them in the knee. They can't run after you.
Oh my.
Get them in the knee.
So you also did some coaching too, intermingled with this, right?
Yes, I did. I did some coaching as well. I did track and field coaching.
Okay, tell us about it.
So my track and field coaching career started my super early 20s, but right when I was working on my master's program. And so I started as just volunteering at first. It was just volunteering with a coach that I knew. Once again, in an inner city area of Baton Rouge, and loved it. I was specifically the sprinters coach, and had the opportunity to coach so many incredible athletes. And even I had the opportunity with that same coach to be a part of his team, to their club's team. And honestly, I had the opportunity to coach some great athletes. And I mean specifically, there's one that's actually playing now in the NFL, and led into eventually being recruited to coach at two private schools in Baton Rouge. So one was at a school called the Dunham School, and then I did that for a few years, and then Corona hit, and then eventually my church member in the church was looking for a sprinters coach, and there it was, and I was there. I was available because I no longer was working for the Dunham School, which I love and I miss, but I was available to coach for St. Joseph Academy, all girls Catholic school, which I love. And of course, I'm no longer coaching because God called me here in Colorado, 7 months ago.
Wow.
Going back, sorry, what track events did you do in college?
The events I did, so I always say I was recruited. Like in particularly, I did the 400 and 800, but there were certain meets that I had to do the 5,000 meters. And it's usually, I remember doing the 5,000 meters 1 to 2 times, maybe a couple of times throughout my per season. And it was because to either get some points. And sometimes I believe it was like more of a punishment too. But I don't know.
5,000 meters.
Look, he's dead. He's dead. I don't know if I can ask him. I mean, I don't know. And maybe when I get to heaven, I'll ask him why he did that to me. But
it's punishment just hearing it. What is that?
Like how? What's Can you say 5,000 meters in like layman's terms?
Yeah. What?
So what is a 5K?
3.1.
Yeah.
So what is considered a 5K? What is another words for 5K?
Death?
5,000, right?
Right. Oh.
Oh my God.
5,000.
Okay. Oh my.
Jeez,
Whoa.
we are not
We-
firing on all
We
cylinders.
need to
today.
drink
Holy
more
smokes.
water immediately.
Yes. Yowzas.
Immediately.
Kobza, come on. Let's go. Get it together.
Yikes.
I didn't know either. Okay.
Yikes.
Got it. Now we're there.
Oh my goodness. Would you run that around the track?
Oh my gosh.
Or I hope they gave you
Oh
like.
yes.
What?
Yes.
No.
No.
No. If they had to hold up signs to say how many laps you had left, I would have red
Yes.
flagged that one.
No kidding.
I'm
Nope.
sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said,
That's probably a good thing.
yeah, I don't think I could have made that many
Yeah,
laps.
and usually, if I'm not mistaken, the 5,000 was only doing a conference. It was only doing conference time, where conference is where you try to put as many athletes, as many events, so you can collect points. And I think he just had trust in me that, man, and he knew my background because they always like these country girls. They can do it, but I was one of the ones that was willing to do it to get a point.
Oh,
So
I hope it was
yeah.
worth more than 1 point. Oh my gosh.
yes, but it was doing conference outdoors. I don't remember being in indoors. I feel like I don't know. I don't remember the indoors, but I know outdoors was definitely a 5,000 meters because I used to like go continue in the little in the little party pilot. I always say it wrong, and to go in there and have some time because I was like so scared. Like no,
Oh my.
because I knew I was gonna embarrass myself.
I doubt you did that, but oh my goodness.
Nah, if anybody asks you from my track career, I wasn't the fastest. I was just the strongest.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like that.
So yeah.
That's very good.
I don't know why people say that, but I think it was just because I would have at least 6 events and would compete very well in them. Now, did I wanted to get first place in all of them? Absolutely. But I competed. I just competed well in 6.
What was it that you liked about being a track athlete?
What I love about being a track athlete is that the fact that it was the only outlet in my life of all the chaos and drama that was going on, even when I was young, and that was like a release. It was a good outlet. And it's almost in a sense, and I hope I can say this, is what I've been learning about with like working with teens is that how they cut is to relieve pressure. For me, that was to run track.
Got it. Very good.
So you just said that you have now recently moved to Colorado. How did you get led there?
It was blind fate. I mean, it is what it is. It is no one here, no job, no nothing. It was in August. It was even before August where I just felt the tug on my heart. And I knew that the place that I call home, the place that I first fell in love and encountered God's love, is a place that no longer feels like home. It felt like a place that I no longer belong. And it's not because the people made me feel like that. It was just something about it where it was unfamiliar. And so I just began to pray for God to bring people in my life that I can talk to through this and to counsel me through that, to know like, am I crazy or something's wrong? And I think also I don't know if you know the statistics with youth ministry, but the lifespan with a youth minister is usually 15 months. And I've been with that church for like over 10 years, not in that position, but just about 4 years in that youth director position, and then to assistant director, to the point where my soul became just dry. And I was just looking to be filled, and not saying that the church didn't do a great job to care for me properly. It's just the fact that I knew something was wrong. So I ended up taking a sabbatical in this past August. And I was very grateful that my church gave me that sabbatical, because it was a time that I unplugged from everything, from my cell phone, from you name it. I went tent camping. I stayed in a pod in South Carolina. I mean, you name it. And so I just came to a place where I was like, okay, God, what's going on? What's in my heart? There's something going on in my heart. And I only had 3 weeks of the sabbatical, and it took 2 weeks and like probably a couple of days for me to really unwind and to really detox, because when I first started, I was still distracted. I was still I was just, my head was just all over the place. And then eventually, I'll never forget, while I was here in Colorado, I I began to journal. I began to journal my thoughts, but also I was into the point where I just felt this heaviness, and it was just almost like I was being attacked in some way, and it was just like, okay, God, what is this? Like, I feel like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Like, what am I doing wrong? And I slip into I mean, I went to sleep, and I mean, I don't know if, I mean, people sometimes don't believe it, but it's just like almost like demons is on top of me, and I was just trying to wrestle, and I'm just like, what is going on? And I can just remember praying, like, I will serve you all the days of my life. In the midst of that, I was like, God, please give me peace. And I remember getting up from that and end up slipping back into another sleep, and end up having this beautiful dream on the mountains. And I'm thinking, oh, is this where I'm supposed to be? And just start journaling. And as I was journaling, I just felt the Holy Spirit just moving me, and I'm just bawling and crying. And when I tell you, it was literally a heart, um, I call it a heart surgery, because he began to not just repair, but he began to reveal things in me that needed to be checked, that needed to be have maintenance. I call it like maintenance, like check maintenance. And he revealed things from, like, even from my past childhood, and all these things. And I'm thinking, okay, God, like, okay, I'm dealing with abandonment. I'm dealing with this. And like, okay, I thought I went to you. I thought I went to counseling for this. And he's like, Paul, I'm revealing this to you because I'm about to take you somewhere where there's going to be things that happen that's going to trigger these areas, but it doesn't mean the circumstance that you're in is that's what it is. But I need for you to know that these are here, because you've been living, and yes, you've been doing my work, but at the same time, you've been overlooking these, and you've been allowing these past emotions to really dictate your next footstep, your next action, the way that you do things. But I don't need for you to do that. Like, I need for you to be attentive to these. And so I was like, okay, there it is. You showed me. But it was just like really sitting in that. I mean, to sit in those emotions and go back to that, I mean, it was hard. And so after all that, I mean, getting a heart check and a heart surgery, I got up after crying. I call it the ugly cry, the lament, and got into my rental Jeep. I'll never forget, I had this nice Wrangler Jeep, and I was driving, and all of a sudden, this long dirt road with no one on it, and I just felt this heavy presence. And I was like, oh no, this is not, better not be you. I was like, God, is this where I needed to be? This where you want me to be? And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not gonna worry about it. But the next day, I had to get on my flight. Right before I got on my flight, I called my sweet friend Brittany to let her know I was on my way. And she's like, so how was it? So how was your trip? And I share with her, I was like, well, it was good. I was like, oh man, God is really doing something to this heart of mine. And I said, but I think he's calling me to Colorado. Not within a minute of our conversation, she began to scream. Well, what I didn't know, she was in the drive through of, I don't know where it was. And not saying like the car was in front of her at the time that she was in the drive through, but when she was coming around upon this car, she saw the license plate that says Colorado. Keep in mind, right when I'm telling her, I think God is calling me to Colorado, she drives up to a license plate. And so God made it known to me. And I love that when seeking God, when seeking wisdom, because he has all the wisdom, is that he sent people in your life. And and I mean, even dreams, and use things to remind you that he is with you, but also that you're going the same way, because everybody's in the same link. I was like, girl, have you been praying for me too? Like, are you on this? Like, hold up, the Holy Spirit been talking to you? And everybody. And honestly, when I went back to let my job know that's what God was calling me to do, I mean, yeah, it was kind of one of those things where, Paula, you sure? Like, you don't have no job lineup, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I know. But what they didn't know at the time on the trip, I visit a little shop that I will always go to do my devotional. And the guy I knew, he asked me what I was doing, and I told him what was going on. And he asked me for my number because at the time his church was looking for a youth director. And I was like, yeah, whatever, like, yeah, here's my number. And then eventually, once I made it public, made it known with my job, and completely without nothing to okay, I know this is Colorado, I know where I'm going. Well, just stand firm and just like, okay, this is what God calling me. And eventually that guy, pastor, ended up calling me and letting me know that they were interested in me. And keep in mind, they didn't tell me I was gonna have a job right away. It was nothing like that. And I still went. I still went to Colorado because I was like, I know I'm supposed to be there. And I think one of the most beautiful things that God did for me is that he gave me a place to lay my head. And the place that I laid my head was in Locksburg, Colorado. Little did I know that the job that did reach out to me was the place that I was going to be at. And it was only 24 minutes away from where I was laying my head. So, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. No words.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. God be up to everything. So, yeah, that's, I call myself a free agent disciple.
I like it.
There you go.
I like it.
Yeah.
So what is your actual title now?
So my actual title now, which is, believe it or not, I applied for the middle school pastor position, but I didn't get it because just a lack of experience. And so they offered the student resident position to me, where in this position, you're just being trained in ministry. Specifically for me, I'm being trained in areas that I didn't get that much training at my last church in that job. And so I'm just getting the training that I always needed. And that's it. I'm just a resident. I'm a student resident, and it's just a 1-year commitment. But I think God, once again, he's moving again. He's still moving. He's always moving. That I think FCA may be the next step maybe the next little earthly step.
So just going back, just so everyone understands this, like, so Paula had a job, which she quit to go do a job that it's not even a job really, right, Paula, right now that you're doing? It's more of an internship.
It is. I mean, I'm getting paid. I don't have no benefits. I'm getting paid the regular normal minimum wage here.
Yeah. But like you like picked up and left. Like you had a house.
Yes. I left everything.
Yeah. To come pursue this, which I think that takes a lot of guts.
Yeah.
A lot of guts.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you think you would have been able to get to that conclusion or take that next step without having the full-on quiet of your experience where you went on your sabbatical and just stopped everything else to listen to what God was trying to do in you?
So you're asking me if I would have made this leap of faith if I didn't went on sabbatical?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't have made it.
Mm-hmm.
Because what would have happened is that I would have did everything based on statistics, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a house. I'm
Mm-hmm.
stable. I have people that love me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a job. I have all these things, and I think it was just comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's our problem, is that we live for comfort. And we think that that's the gospel, is comfort, but God never promised us comfort. That
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing, is that I'm seeing every single day, especially in ministry, is that, man, like, comfort. What? The comfort that I do get is that I actually get a bed. Like, thank God I got a bed. But I just think, I mean, I would have been in a place where, yes, I would have stayed back in Baton Rouge, but I will tell you this, it wouldn't be no longer God's ministry. It would be Paula ministry. It would be flesh ministry. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
it would be to the point where maybe Paula would probably be on the TV. Oh, news today. Paula Walker, youth director, has done something super crazy. It's because I haven't had my soul would have been empty. Like, you cannot do God's ministry with an empty soul. You have to be overflowing, not just to the top, not just to the brim, overflowing.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, that sabbatical you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of just literally like a sick person going to the hospital. And my hospital was that sabbatical with him. My time with the Lord, there's these things that call sacred pathways. There's different ways that we hear from the Lord and we feel connected. With me, that's outdoors. And because I love people so much, and that was my job and the thing that I eat and breathe, I had to get away from it. And so that was the only time that I would have no voices in my head. It was only between he and I, which is actually every night. No matter if you're married, single, with kids, like, at the end of the day, when you're in the bed, is between you and God. And let me tell you, before sabbatical, between me and God, it was hard. It was heavy. I don't think people knew that I was crying every single night just to get a little peace and comfort. Just to make sure, like, okay, I think this is where I'm supposed to be. But that is one thing I'm grateful that God, that he does make us uncomfortable. He does take us out of that and uproot us. And it's for the beauty. It's so much good out there.
Yeah. Awesome. I think I could sit here and talk to you all day, because I do think you have a lot of words, wise words. And that's one thing that drew me to you at FCA camp. So.
Even though she tried to ditch and go to a room by herself.
What?
I know. I was telling Lena about when we first met and we ended up having to be roommates.
And you're like, oh,
yeah.
And
I was like,
I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah. And then turned out we had to, bunk mates.
Yeah.
Yeah. God knew we needed each other.
Yes. Right next.
I think it made the weekend so good. Us connecting with the others. Like, that was so good. It just made it. It's like having my sisters. That's the cool thing I love about the kingdom of God. Like, when you meet someone, like, oh my goodness, like, girl, I feel like we've known each other like my whole life. Like, were you my high school buddy? Like, you remind me of this person, like that kindred spirit.
Yeah.
So, that was a really great experience.
So at the end of our podcast, Paula, we asked a few questions, because we we love learning about people's story and all those things. And first and foremost, you need to come out and visit, because I just think you have a lot of wise words, not just as, I think just like talking to athletes would be phenomenal. I would just love to have you come out here. But anyways, so we ask a few questions just to get to know people a little bit better. And we also like to know things to learn for ourselves. So, like, do you drink any caffeine? And if you do, what do you drink?
I drink Celsius.
Oh yes.
I love my Celsius.
What's your favorite flavor?
My new favorite flavor is the passion mango fruit, I think. I think it's like passion mango. Okay. So good.
Passion mango. I'm writing this down so I can test it out.
Taking notes.
Yeah.
What is something, are you reading anything currently?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Are you reading anything currently?
You saying am I greedy?
No. Are you reading? Like, are you reading a book? Reading a devotional, reading anything?
Yes. I am reading. I am. Yeah.
What are you reading?
So this new read that I'm doing is Name Above All Names. By I'm gonna butcher these names, because once again I blame my upbringing language. It's like Anastar Begg and Sinclair B. Ferguson, and it just give you like just 7 key attributes of Jesus' life and ministry and above all names. Awesome. And so I don't know, I just love being challenged in my faith, and I love that one.
Awesome. Okay, what about, are you watching anything?
Girl, I with my roommates, by the way, because I have 5 roommates. Well, 5 roommates, and 2 of them are 19, and so that's awesome, right? And one is 20, and the other one's 21. And by the way, if you don't know, I am 36. And so
you're like their mom.
We've been watching The Bachelorette. Like,
okay.
I've never been into that, because I've been so against him. Like, Yeah, I was like, man, this is just like a ripoff, like of love. Like, yeah, that's love, all right.
Yeah.
Like I was like, look, you're competing. That is not love. Is kind. It's not competition. So yeah, but it's great entertainment, and I think it's great more information I can use in a sermon teaching to teenagers.
Oh,
There
that's a
you go.
way to turn it around.
So yeah.
What about, do you listen to any podcasts?
Yes, I do. I love Jackie Hill Perry and her husband.
Oh,
Yes, Preston Perry. I love them
so
so much.
sorry, Andrea listens to the same one.
Yes, I was gonna say we've heard that. But
Yes, they're so real. They just talk about real stuff, and I just respect them as teachers of the word, and especially Jackie. She's just so raw.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just we just need more people of the world in this world, just like really living out what they're talking. Because some people, they get the platform. God allowed them to have that platform. They misuse it, but she and her husband are doing a great job using that platform for the glory of God.
And then also we finish up with one person. Like, of course, every single day you're going to be thankful for somebody, but today in this moment, who are you thankful for and why?
I would say I am grateful for my friend Brittany. I have a friend named Brittany that's back in Baton Rouge, and one of the things that I love about her is because she's younger than I am, but she's just such a wise soul, and just always there for me, even there and now here in Colorado. And it's just, I don't know, she just one of those ones that you talk to and she just lifts up your soul. And man, don't you need that, especially in ministry. In life, you just need that friend to lift up your soul when days are not always good.
Yeah.
Kobza, who are you thankful for today?
I'm going to say Brooklyn Evans. Volleyball season's right. By the time this airs, we will be in the nitty gritty. But I think Brooklyn Evans, she was my first recruit that I ever had at McCook, and she's awesome human, and just a true attribute of an athlete. She just works hard. Wasn't the most talented, but she worked the hardest to make her talent shine. And so, yeah, I'm gonna say Brooklyn. And I still talk with her today. Just love her. She's great. I love all my players, but I'll be thankful for her today. And you?
I'm going to be thankful for my junior high assistant volleyball coach, Jennifer Jacobs. Because she's very knowledgeable about the game, and she's patient with me, even if she wants to do things a little differently or doesn't agree with how I do things. She's just she challenges me to be better, and that's what I love about her.
It's a good assistant right there. Good assistant.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Well, Paula, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Yes, thank you. This was so good.
Thank you all.
And don't forget about me.
Yes, I'm not, like, I really am trying to figure out a time. Like, I'm trying to look at my schedule when I can just come and do a trip up there to Nebraska.
Yeah, and just come chat. We'll get you a group of people and you can chat with us.
Yes. Have you been to Nebraska before?
No, I have not. I don't remember even ever doing a track meet out there or anything. But
really?
We will take really, really good care of you.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
Oh, well, I will say I may gravitate to the kids first and the adults. So
I'm very childlike myself. So
you can meet my little humans and Lena's and be game on.
Yep.
So
perfect.
We can make cookies.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Paula.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah, I'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was fun.
That was fun. Thanks for
all of it.
Maybe you did tell me some things, but man, I'm glad we recovered from the, started out a little hardy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
think you maybe had, but you know what? That's okay because we say everything we do is unscripted and it's real.
Yep.
And setting it up otherwise just isn't as genuine as what it is when it just comes and happens. So
I think Paula, one thing that I really enjoyed about her is that she just had like a different outlook on life. And every time that we even spoke, it was meaningful conversation that made you think. And she just has a different look on life. Like she was raised differently than me. And just she had a lot of good things, and we've talked about some of those things.
Yeah.
And I
She's
think,
very joy filled. Like
Yeah.
she just is the glass totally full. I mean,
Yeah.
she's just looks at things with a kind and loving perspective and just seeing the good in it all when she really has every opportunity to
Yeah.
not be that person. So
yeah, it was-
thanks for sharing her with me.
yeah,
I
for
appreciate
sure. We got to
Yeah.
share her with McCook one day when she comes in.
it. Yeah.
So
This is fun. It's always fun.
it's always fun.
when we're together and hear a new story and they enlighten us to be better.
Yeah.
So thanks, Paula, for that.
Yeah, and thank you everybody for listening to another episode of Coaching, Caffeine, and Comedy. I'm your host, Hayley Kobza.
And I'm Lena.